Hello, everybody, and welcome to the sellerboard show. My name is Vadim Gordon. I'm your host today, and my guest is Yev Marusenko from ZoneTracker.io. We're going to talk about Facebook, and this time we went really deep into Facebook advertising as a source of external traffic for your Amazon business. So we talked about optimizing costs on Facebook and optimizing your, basically your ads to get more clicks, more engagement, more conversion. And then we discussed the funnel and how to build this funnel and what steps you can put into this funnel, and how to segment your audience and how to send basically only those people who will actually buy or who are more likely to buy on your Amazon listing, which will increase your conversion. So make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be really detailed, and there's a lot of value in this episode. And before we start, I'd like to mention Sellerboard. Sellerboard is our profit analytics tool for Amazon sellers. We're on a mission to build the world's most accurate and most user-friendly profit analytics, or in general financial analytics tool for Amazon sellers. So make sure you check out our free trial. It's 30 days free trial, and after that it's only $19 a month. And we have a new feature released recently. It's a PPC dashboard, which will actually tell you how much money you earned on the level of every PPC campaign, ad group, and actually every single keyword. So you're gonna know, or you're gonna see rather straight away, whether a keyword is profitable or not. And we also have a feature which will recommend a new bid for you depending on the profitability of the keyword. So make sure you check this out. There's a free trial. The link is in the description. And now let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Sellerboard Show. My name is Vladi, and my today's guest is Yev. Hi, Yev.
Hi, glad to be here.
Hi, thanks for coming. So, you're in Seattle, right?
Yeah, Seattle, Washington, next to Amazon headquarters.
That's definitely a very nice location to be in.
Yeah, you frequently just see people, whether it's in coffee shops or anywhere in the area, and people are like, oh yeah, I work at Amazon. So you definitely get that a lot here.
Have you ever seen Jeff Bezos in the city?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Well, Seattle's still pretty big though.
All right. So, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, originally I'm from Ukraine. I moved to US when I was 8 years old. So I think we have a little Russian-speaking connection there. But I was in academia for a really long time, and I was doing a lot of research, data analysis. So that's where kind of like my background is in, and I was doing that for way too long, more than 10 years, kind of being a science researcher.
Wow.
And then I switched into marketing. It was more like, man, like, do I want to continue doing science and research? It was interesting, but it wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it would be. And then getting into marketing was really interesting because I realized you could have a really big impact on through marketing. Mm-hmm. Just get awareness into something, and then that's how people find out about it, take action, change behaviors. So it's been around 4 years doing marketing, but just like really fast growth. So kind of coming from a data-driven marketing perspective, and then like Amazon came like a little bit later into the fold, but it's really trying to think about data and algorithms and how does data work, and then that applies to Facebook ads and Amazon. And I've been in this intersection of Facebook advertising and Amazon.
So are you actually, or how did you get into selling on Amazon? Or are you a seller?
Great question. So when I made that career shift, that same week I found out about the Amazon world, private label. You can actually have your own brand. So it was very interesting. I found out about it, and this was from Ryan Daniel Moran. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like registering a business license right away. Started like sourcing a product. So I started like selling my own stuff, and I was doing that for about half a year. But then my wife was pregnant at the time, and then like our baby was going to be born. And she's like, all right, you've been doing it 6 months. You're not really making any money. So like, time to get a job again. So I'm like, man, like I was like starting to get sales, so the momentum was there. But I ended up getting a job at a marketing agency because I'm like, all right, like we need some financial influx. And then with the marketing agency, like this was in Seattle already. We kind of had different clients. It was like Microsoft, because like their headquarters here, and kind of like different startups. And one of them was an Amazon brand. Like they were selling on Amazon. So at this point, I already quit my own brand. Like I wasn't working on it, but I had that experience. And then working with a client where like they were on Amazon, they were starting to gain success. And then basically I ended up like generating some more success for them. And then they ended up like hiring me full time. And then I kind of had very deep involvement with the company. And I was basically leading all of their marketing. And then that was for a couple of years I was doing that. And it was company HeroClip. Like you can look it up, like kind of look at their presence on Amazon and advertising. So I was doing that for a couple of years, and then kind of switched more into software space. But I haven't gotten back to having my own brand, and probably because I'm interacting with so many different sellers, and I feel like I'm better trying to help others rather than just like focusing on only my own stuff.
Okay, and you're known as the Facebook ad guy. Is that kind of right?
I don't know if like the Facebook ad guy, but I feel like because I've been openly talking about our brand and finding this hybrid between Facebook advertising and Amazon, and not just for ranking or kind of algorithm, but actually building a brand, growing an audience, because we had a lot of success with that. So it's how can you do that off of Amazon and complement it with Amazon, because sometimes you just need to rank a little bit or rank a lot, but also kind of thinking about long-term, having most access to customers in the long term through advertising and through your own channel. So it's kind of like finding that balance.
Yeah, awesome. So look, let's talk about that. I'd like to pick your brain on the whole process, how to go about external traffic and Facebook ads. So suppose we have a product. I don't know. Actually, maybe my first question: does the product really matter when you're building the brand? Is it like, are you better off with something which users replenish or buy recurringly, like coffee, than with, I don't know, maybe a wallet or something like this? Or does both work?
Yeah, part of the question is, does the product matter or not, or the branding around it? So one thing that's true is that marketing can make like almost anything like better than it is, right? Okay. So if you have a crappy product, you could make it like a little bit better, or if it's like a good product, you can like try to make it seem like it's great. So with the marketing, you could certainly amplify it and get more sales, but it ultimately comes down to a lot of other factors, like the actual branding, the customer support you have in place, and the actual value of the product. So it may not be as long-term. So in Facebook ads, you clearly see this, that you could run ads in a certain way, do a lot of testing, and maybe I'll talk about a little bit better, like strategies like you could do today or that I always use, that it'll make your ads better, it'll get more engagement, it'll get more sales, but is it going to continue or not is a whole different question. So at some point, like the product does matter, and that's where all of the research comes in for it to be more longer term. But like at any point, like the marketing can make something better, but you'll figure out over time if it's actually sustainable or not, and if it's going to continue with like a crappy product.
But like,
and then the other part of the question, if it's like a consumable or not, or someone where there's repeat buyers or not. This is really interesting, where through Facebook ads, it comes down to the algorithm, where how much can you spend to get the customer. And a lot of Amazon sellers and even e-commerce overall, you really have to do the math. It makes a really big difference on knowing that you can actually spend $50 or $100 or like a couple $100, even though if it's like only $20 product or a $40 product. So that makes a difference in terms of more of like a bidding strategy and ad delivery strategy, knowing that you could bid more. So it makes sense from that. There's other reasons, getting more inventory in bulk and kind of like fulfillment related reasons. But from a marketing, you'll just be able to bid more and outcompete other advertisers.
Okay. So let's suppose we have a product, like we picked a good product, and it's a cup or some like a jump rope maybe, right? Okay, that's I guess that's very saturated in Amazon, but just as an example. So like how do we go about building a brand through Facebook?
Yeah, I would say two parts. So let's say even if it's something really saturated, so the first part is that you need to get ahead of other advertisers. And what that means is the content that you're showing, like the actual ad creative, like the image, the video, the headline, the copy. One, you just need to get engagement. Like, don't worry about sales yet. So even if it's saturated, and if you show something that maybe before it went viral or like it doesn't anymore, the first thing you have to do is just show something unique. And by unique, I just mean visually. You have to get people to click, so you drive down your cost. That way, Facebook is going to charge you less money than all of the other advertisers that are competing for your audience. So the first part is even before like branding or the content, it's more about the creative to drive down your cost. That way, you're not getting like 2 cents per like $2 per click or like $1 per click, but you're driving it down to 50 cents per click, 20 cents per click, 10 cents per click. So you're just seeing more people for the same cost. So that's the first part.
Can I ask one thing, just to make sure I got it? Like, what I thought, like you pay per click. So why would a click cost less if you get more clicks, or how does
that
work on Facebook?
Yeah. So here's exactly why. So let's say you have 3 different images, or even like you can go crazy with like 20 different images that you're testing, and you're targeting the same audience. And let's say like most of the images are the same, but one of them is like really different. It just like stands out in the newsfeed more. It's like more engaging. So as soon as people, Facebook is showing these ads, so you're kind of seeing the impressions. It's like one person sees it, 10, 100, 1,000, and some are getting clicks, some are not getting clicks, just because of like the quality of the ad. Like, is it catching attention? What it means to Facebook is like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? This ad is getting clicks. It's probably a good experience for the Facebook users. They're engaging, they're staying on Facebook longer. So let's drive down the cost of the advertisers so we can show their ad more than other advertisers that are showing crappy ads, the ones that are getting just like low engagement.
Well, basically, Facebook is selling, like for them, it's not about so much about clicks, it's about impressions, right? So what costs them juice, so to say, are the impressions. So if they see, okay, this guy is getting more clicks per impression, so to say, then they drive the cost down.
Yeah, and you're basically you're competing for that space, but also if it's a good quality ad, then Facebook can show it more, because there's a lot of advertisers that are showing crappy ads, and Facebook is okay showing more, because all of these ads that people scroll by and they don't even engage with, it's like it's not good for Facebook. Like, maybe some brand awareness that could be happening, but people aren't clicking on it, so they're not like increasing their time on Facebook. They're not engaging with it. So it's kind of like the algorithm version of Facebook.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is we're working on the visual until we drive the cost down. And you mentioned like 10 cents. Is it a realistic bid?
So we get a lot of ads that are that level, and so let's say you start off with an ad for for the jump rope or different products. And let's say you just put up like 3 different ads, kind of like different images and different copy. You're probably going to be somewhere around like $1 per click. That's kind of like the average, like probably even like something higher, but one of the 3 may be at like 75 cents. It's kind of like lower. So you kind of have to test more variants. And this is one of the main strategies that I do, where again, it may seem a little bit extreme, but like most people don't do this. Most advertisers don't even do this, is that have as many variants as possible. So like 10 or 20, like I like to do like 30 or more, because what it's going to do, it's going to narrow down to like the top 5 ads. And you kind of need to get creative when you're like, all right, I came up with 10 ads. I can't think of any more. It's probably the best opportunity for you to like force yourself to like think, do more research, ask team members, or like look in different groups, or do like more competitive research to come up with a variant. Because out of those are the ones that are going to be the 10 cent per click ones, and you want to aim for like less than 50 cents. You're getting traction. And again, the cost per click doesn't necessarily correlate with like, is someone going to purchase or not. But this is a big mistake that I see, like especially Amazon sellers make, that they're trying to like advertise on Facebook, is that they're worried about getting the purchase right away. If they didn't even find a good ad, they just put an ad and they want the purchase right away. It's an algorithm. You have to get engagement first. So drive down your cost, and once you're driving more people to see the same ad, then you can think about like, actually, is it getting purchases? Can you switch your audience targeting? is the offer be different? Some of those variants,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like right away, right, put an ad,
Yeah.
are my Amazon sales increasing or website sales? So like 10%, I mean, that's like very optimistic. That's like great if you can get it. That, I mean, you can get something that's like very clickbaity, like even lower than that. And it's going to be a very low quality audience. So, I mean, you can like bring some like direct response. And I think it's good thinking from that strategy. Just don't go like far extreme into like outbrain or clickbaity stuff. But a lot of advertisers stay way on the other end where like they show the product, like that's the ad. And like that sometimes that works. But in my case, the more curiosity you add, the better it is. But it still has to be relevant. So it's kind of relevant to the audience, but getting people to engage with the ad. Because we've done this before where we have a really awesome product. It's unique. People like see the ad and we're like showing what it does. And people are like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. Like that product is really cool, but I don't really need one. And they don't even click it. Like they see it. They have a good experience just with the ad. But we need to add more curiosity. As soon as we do that, it's kind of like weird angles or like change the depth perception where it's kind of like, the product is at different angles, even if it's a boarding product or saturated product. So like, for example, the jump rope, what if you kind of just like hold it up, kind of just hanging, and your camera angle is from the top. So you kind of like see it's kind of like a jump rope and you can tell, but not really. So it's like, I think it's a jump rope, but like you'll get people to engage, you'll drive down the cost. And then the website will like actually sell, or the Amazon page will sell, or the funnel that you have in place. So kind of think about how can you add curiosity to the image. That's like the biggest shift I've seen, where just like different image and it'll get more sales. And this is different than the Amazon image strategy, right? You want to be as clear as possible, kind of like zoom in as much as possible so you see that, but it's not necessarily like that way in Facebook ads.
Interesting. Wow. Curiosity. Okay. So tell us, suppose we found a good image, which is like generating clicks and the click price goes down. So what's next? Like, do we drive them directly to the Amazon site or to your list, or what's?
So this is, I've seen a lot of variety, and you can make it work anyway, where you're sending traffic like directly to Amazon and getting sales. And it's probably the hardest if you're ever sending traffic directly to Amazon, unless you have a long funnel in place. So whether it's like a messenger bot and there's a lot of like service questions, you're really filtering that audience, you're qualifying, and then you send them to Amazon. But like ads that go directly to Amazon, conversion rates are just terrible. It's under like 0.01%. It's like that low because it's just a different experience. That's what I commonly see. What happens is that Amazon is still going to reward you with sales, kind of like just because of velocity of traffic, not necessarily sales from the Facebook ad, but there may be add to carts. There's traffic. So Amazon is like boosting your ranking a little bit, and you may get some sales. You're like, oh, it's working, but it's not directly from the ad. It's like the indirect effect of it. So that one is hard to do it that way.
So you're saying like just bringing traffic that doesn't even convert still helps the sales.
Yeah, it does. And that's because you're probably getting some add to carts. Like maybe even if you'll get like one sale, but even without the sale, it's traffic to Amazon, and those visitors may go and do other things on Amazon, or there's going to be Amazon retargeting overall. So it's still like valuable for Amazon. So they're kind of like trying to help you, but there's going to be a ceiling on that. If you're just spending $10 or $100 per day, like you're just going to get a very small boost, and you think your ads are getting the sales. So you kind of like, you continue doing that. You're not getting sales from the ad, and then Amazon stops helping you with the ranks. So it's like, all right, like I think it worked, but not really. And it's kind of like a sales tracking problem. But this is where like the other strategies just like overwhelmingly like usually seem better. And that's having some sort of customer journey in place or a funnel in place, whether it's to your website, a landing page, or a messenger bot, where there's just multiple touch points with a customer, or multiple like information that the person is consuming about your product. That way, by the time you send them to Amazon, it's a higher quality visitor. And you kind of navigated the Facebook algorithm, where you're giving more data to Facebook, how they're engaging on the website or through a funnel. So Facebook knows how to find even lower cost potential customers before you send them to Amazon. Because once you send them to Amazon, you basically lose the data. I mean, there's like some workarounds. It's kind of like what my software helps with, but you kind of like lose all that data. So like like the other journeys are usually much better, and we can like talk about those, what some of the best practices are.
Okay, well, like tell us, and like maybe you can walk us through an example funnel or something like this. Like how does this look like?
Yeah. So let me talk about landing pages first, because it's been around longer than like messenger bots. I know messenger bots are like really popular now, and they're like really effective. But there's like potentially a lot of room to mess up. Like, how are you doing the messenger bot, and are you just using like a template or just like a rebate funnel? But so let me talk about landing pages or your website. Let's say you have a website and or some sort of landing page, or like a main, like your home page. So basically part of the journey, and you could do it two different ways. So one that's very common and may or may not work is having some sort of offer or discount. But let me talk about like the other strategy first, and then you can see how discounts fit into it, because you don't always want to rely on discounts or heavy discounts or like any like free products, however that works out, because you could usually get like full price sales without even like rebates, all of that. With the other strategy, you just have to have a really good ad, like understanding your audience and good customer journey, driving down the cost. So then you'll actually get enough people to actually purchase because it's at low enough cost. So an example would be where you have to have multiple touch points, and that's a combination of your ad, your website, some sort of retargeting ad, or an email. Like we kind of got lucky before, so a lot of ads I was running, we had like instant purchases directly from the ad, meaning like we run the ad, someone goes to their website, and then they buy right away. So it's kind of like an impulse purchase, and it would be profitable. So like we didn't need to rely on retargeting or email marketing. Like it all helps, but can you get sales right away? So for that, your ad, there should be an area where you can segment your audience in some way, meaning either tagging your audience or knowing what actions they're taking. So later, you know what retargeting ads to show or what type of email marketing to show to them. Because if you're just sending everybody to a page and you're not tracking what they're doing on that page, like you don't know what's the difference between someone that almost clicked add to cart versus someone that clicked add to cart, or someone that just like scrolled or left the website right away. And Facebook is really good with that, with some of that targeting.
So like what would be this segmentation? Like you said, somebody who almost clicked add to cart. Is it, what are you even using for those landing pages? Is it like
so here's one example, and some sort of like a listicle where it's 10 facts or 10 ways you should jump rope, or like what the best athletes, how they jump rope, or it could be an article. So that's one example where you have that article and somebody is on your site, they're reading that article, and throughout the article there's opportunities to engage. So one clear example is that at the end of the article it's like but here's the 11th method that nobody knows about, but people have to click. And once they click, it's some sort of engagement, right? There's curiosity in there. People find out about it. Throughout the article, maybe you're talking about the product, maybe not. Maybe it's straight up content marketing. It's just like educational, about like exercise or activity, or like do it yourself at home for free with, you don't need anything extra. Or you kind of you talk about products like throughout, or you kind of like foreshadow, you start talking about the products. So that's one example where curiosity, somebody clicks to the other page to read the 11th fact, and it could be just one more fact. You can just like have really good marketing behind it. Maybe it's a simple fact, but it's like the secret fact.
Nice.
So you already know some people that clicked that and some that didn't. So that's a higher quality visitor than whoever read the fact and then left the site. So you want to have opportunities where you'll separate the audience in that way. So just an obvious one is some sort of like an email pop-up or an email capture. So if you do that, that's just an obvious one where someone is interested enough to put their email, and that pop-up, it doesn't have to be a discount. I think that's what's most common, get 20% off on a purchase order or your first order, but it could be, it's like get more content like this, or it's like, like the 11th tip example, it's kind of like the upgraded content. People will sign up for things that they don't know what they're going to get yet. Because if you say, like, you're going to get exactly this, some people will sign up for that. But there's different psychologies of people. Some will want to sign up for something that they don't know that they're going to get. So you kind of have to test that messaging. So those are different audiences. And so let's keep it where like you still want to send people to Amazon. Let's say you don't have like the actual shopping functionality on your site. Because let's say like you're on Shopify or a site where you actually add to cart, you check out, you purchase. I mean, that's like, you're kind of like developing a brand, and that's more resources than let's say like if you're just on Amazon. But in either case, think of it more as like lead generation. You're just getting emails, or you're getting content, you're getting opportunity to retarget. So then you also show a retargeting ad, someone that visited your site and then they saw that first ad, they engage with it. So there's some interest there. And then that second ad should be based on the actions they took. So if they just went on the site and they didn't click anything, they left, like they'll get a retargeting ad that like you don't know, they didn't want to find out about the 11th tip, they didn't want to leave their email, so that content isn't going to work in the ad. It should be something different, some sort of like, so maybe that's where like a discount will work, because that's what they're thinking about. So if somebody, let's say an obvious example, they did click to that 11th tip or they left their email, then there's going to be some sort of retargeting ad that reflects that. It's more about it's kind of like, well, then we have a 12th tip or something that, do you want to sign up for our Facebook group or some sort of newsletter where we reveal one of these every month or something like that. That content is going to be different. And then you can get even way more strategic, is that, let's say on that website, on that first landing page where it's just a content article where they don't click anything, or they don't leave their email and they leave, but there's different website visitors. Some are going to stay on that website for 5 minutes, read the whole article and then leave. Some are going to leave 10 seconds later. And then this is where you could just use the Facebook ad targeting. Who's the top 5% that they spend time on your website? Or you can add the Facebook pixel events depending how far somebody scrolls. Like if somebody scrolls to a certain length, like you're basically like, that's your audience. So then you want to make sure like you're retargeting like with different content based on their activity.
But like sounds like a pretty long shot, right? So you kind of get them onto your site and you get them to read your content, and when they're like, I don't know, read the first 5 bullet points, they're like, okay, this is my audience, but when are we going to make a sale? It just sounds like it costs money, right? So it costs money to get them onto the site. It costs money to retarget, right?
Yeah. So here's the simple version. Let's say without all of that, like the retargeting and all of that tracking is just like you send people to your site and it is content and people engage it, and some engage a little, some engage a lot, but you have a second ad, which is like your product, like your sale. It's something you were going to do anyway before the content. And this is what most people do. Their first ad is the product. It's the sale where like, you don't know, like, do people want it or not? Do they have trust in the brand? There's like 10 different check marks people have to have in their head. Do I trust it? Is there social proof? Is there quality? Does the content have, do I resonate with it or not? And if you show like a really good ad, people might buy right away because you checked off like some of those check marks, but only a certain percentage will buy right away. So you basically increase your chances quite a bit by showing something before that. Content, it sets off so many check marks. It's kind of like there's a little bit of trust, some authority, because there's content, there's educational. They heard about you before. So that's at minimum. Just have a content ad and then have your product ad. So you could do a test. What if you don't do the content? How many sales are you getting just from that product ad where you have the offer, whether it's with a discount or not, or even like engagement on the ad. So this is the other thing that's better. So simply the engagement on your ad, what we were talking about at the beginning of the call, like Facebook, it's an algorithm. How is it going to reward you, the cost per click and the engagement? If you're showing other ads and other content that are getting engagement, it's actually very likely to drive down your cost of other ads. So if you're showing a content ad, it's probably going to get more engagement than like a product or like selling you stuff type of ad. So when you show that selling type of ad, it's going to get more engagement, lower cost, just because you already showed in your Facebook ad account and your Facebook pixel is getting this other data that's going to drive down your cost. So that's kind of the simple version, just basic content ad and then your product ad. And this is where the curiosity comes in, still like your product is there, like your value is there.
Look, would it be like a retargeting ad? So I target people who read like first 5 points. I retarget them on Facebook and show them the product ad, right?
Yeah, that's one simple version. It's whoever visited the site, they just see the second retargeting ad, because at least they clicked. If you have a video, then you can also do the retargeting ad based on them engaging with the video. But it gets a little bit more complex with videos, and it could have higher potential with videos, but you could also mess up more with videos because depending on the video. So an image is a great starting point, and sometimes images work better than the videos because you're kind of like, it's the algorithm. A video usually tells you exactly what it is over time, so people are like, all right, like that's great, and then they don't click. An image potentially have more opportunity for that curiosity because they see the image and then they want to find out more, then they're on the website. But just a simple retargeting ad based on, do they engage with the content or the website or not?
Okay, got it. And like, do you think overall it's realistic to make money on the first sale with this approach?
So this is what we did, and this depends on the product and a lot of factors. So if the more unique the product, basically like the less competition, the higher your chance. So now, and so this is a little bit interesting that today compared to like several years ago, there was less competition, so you had more chance of like any strategy potentially leading to sales depending how you're doing it. Right now, you kind of have to extend that customer journey because there's more advertisers, and yes, there's like more people on Facebook spending more time, and there's like more unique things you can do to like innovate in the marketing. But overall, there's more advertisers and there's more like advertising spend, so your costs are generally going higher. So one way to combat that is to extend the customer journey, and all that means is having more touch points. It's like the retargeting ads, or the way someone is on your site or is in your ad, your video, or your messenger bot sequence, is that just more opportunity for engagement. So you can separate out the audience from like the lower quality to the higher quality, basically like top of funnel to bottom of funnel. So you kind of have to do that now, while like years ago, like it wasn't necessary. So as you're doing that, it usually means that you're probably going to be getting sales on that second step or that third step, where now it's becoming more and more important to do that. So getting the first sale from the first ad, it's getting really tricky now. It's you have to have other things in place for it to be profitable. And if you're an Amazon seller, then you have to think about how much is it actually helping you rank on Amazon and get you organic customers because of those sales that you're kind of like forcing in there. Maybe you're losing money, but you're kind of getting more ranking. And it's finding that balance between like the website traffic and then the Amazon sales, or like the sales on the website.
Okay, look, let's talk about your software. So what you explained seems pretty complicated. And, I know, it seems like a lot of work, right? So what is your software doing, or how is it helping this process?
Yeah, so how the software relates to this, and so even like I was talking about, where you can get like way more complex than that, way more advanced than that, but the simple version of it is that you run some sort of ads to your website or some sort of like sequence, and then you send people to Amazon, whether it's through the email that you captured or directly from the website. You just link to Amazon, and are you getting sales or not? I mean that's the big question. If you're using coupon codes, you can track with that. If you're using affiliate links, you can track with that. If you're doing it right, you can use all kinds of tagging. But ultimately, still there's some types of sales happen that are like untrackable. So one of the things the software does, and it's Zon Tracker, it helps you track Amazon sales that are coming from Facebook ads. And it's not 100% accurate, but it basically it allows you to see like any of those funnels or any way you're running your Facebook ads, are they leading to sales? So it's very common if there's brands where I would say like 10 to 15% of the sales that are happening are spillover sales, meaning you send traffic to your website, you're getting website sales, But people, they just love their Prime shipping. They're gonna like open up Google browser, they're gonna Google you and then find your Amazon listing, or they're gonna open Amazon directly and find you and purchase. So that's like 10 to 15% of purchases because we track that through the software, and it's basically like a view attribution where someone, they may have saw the ad and never clicked it, but like they saw the ad like, oh, that looks like an interesting ad, you know, like Hero Clip, or like, what is this brand? They search for it, but they never click it, or they never go to your website, or even if they do click it, they go to your website, they do some of the research, they see the branding, kind of like some of the social proof or the authority, and then they go to Amazon. So it's the sales tracking in the first part. And
I can absolutely, just want to say, I can absolutely understand this, because that's what I'm always doing. If I find something interesting, first thing is I check it on Amazon. If it's there and if the price is the same, I'll rather buy it on Amazon than on a website.
Yeah. So this is really great. I know a lot of users are agencies where, you know, they have clients, and before they were never able to quantify the Amazon sales. From agencies typically focus on like e-commerce. They're running traffic to the website, not like to Amazon. That's like tricky. There's not as many agencies that do that. So they, you know, whatever sales they're getting, whatever their ROI numbers, the ROAS, is like, well, now you actually can add in all of this other revenue from Amazon. So it's kind of like more profitable. And for Amazon sellers, it makes a big difference if you know you know, whether you're thinking of it as like the ACoS or the ROAS, is that, are you like breaking even? Are you profitable? How closer you are? But if you're like adding on that revenue, it allows you to put more back into the marketing, because you kind of like
absolutely
know what you're doing. So that's part of it. And it's convenient because the data is in your Facebook ad manager. So like it just like populates in there. And I know like some that are more advanced kind of use different like offline conversion method, and it's very similar to that. That's what it does. Like the matching is better because it's going through the Facebook API. So we're kind of like doing all kinds of matching there. And then there's a newer feature that is like even more impressive than that one. Like still like people are like really like that feature, but
hold on, can I ask something? So basically you see your Amazon conversion within your Facebook ad manager. Is that right?
Yeah. So there's no like software dashboard, or you can like within Amazon, you know, if you have like a storefront, you can do like Google tags and you can see the data in Amazon. But like just for me being an advertiser, it's so convenient seeing the data in the platform where you're actually creating the ads.
It's kind of like
you basically have a new column, and the new column shows like the Amazon purchase.
Okay. Is it like in percent? Is it like an ACoS?
No, it's just like you had one purchase, or like 2, 10, 100. And then the other columns are based on like Facebook default options, meaning the purchase value. So what was the purchase value on Amazon? It pulls that in. And then also the cost per purchase. I mean, this is like a little biased one. And that's all we can do. So it's just those three columns. You'll kind of manually have to look at, you know, calculating ROAS and things like that, because Facebook like doesn't have those columns aside from just website, like real websites.
Okay, cool. So go on. What's the second feature?
Yeah. So the newest feature that came out fairly recently is, it's kind of like a Facebook pixel workaround on Amazon, because you can't put the Facebook pixel on Amazon. So all of these ads you're running, the common question we get is like, what Facebook objective do I choose? You know, video views, website clicks, purchases. And if you have your website, you can have all of the strategy behind it, you know, like getting people to engage, have your custom conversion be like multiple web page visits and video views, like all of this stuff, website purchase, add to carts. But you have none of that on Amazon, right? Like Amazon doesn't give us that data and doesn't give us that clarity. So this newer feature, it allows you to optimize Facebook ads for Amazon purchases. Basically, it's a custom conversion event that's an Amazon purchase. So it's equivalent to like a website purchase that you would have on your website. It's usually like the best conversion. And there's like add to carts and just clicks and engagement on the site, other conversions you can do. So this one, you just choose. It's like a alternative pixel in a way that you're choosing Amazon purchase, and you just add this to your arsenal. Whatever you're doing before, it's basically compatible with whatever strategies you had. So if you didn't know what you're doing, or you're like super advanced, you just basically use these new features. One, you get more data, and two, you just duplicate your campaign or your ad set, and you just test like the Amazon purchase. So like, is it working for you? You're feeding Facebook better data
Yeah.
to like actually get the Amazon purchases. So like it's a really interesting feature.
Okay, let me reiterate to make sure I got it right. So basically, in the Facebook Ad Manager, you can choose a goal. Like I don't have a lot of impressions. I want to have clicks. I want to have conversion, and you need to tell Facebook what a conversion is, and they have some machine learning, and they're like, okay, they might even not understand what a conversion is, but they just know whether it happens or no, and then they see like, okay, I'm feeding in those users, and they convert better than others. So okay, I'll show you ad to users that convert better. So basically, that's what happens when you say, Facebook, please optimize for conversion, right? But
Perfect. Yeah.
But if you like or sending your traffic over to Amazon, Facebook doesn't know whether the users convert or no. So basically, you can optimize for clicks, I guess, right? Is that?
Yeah. Your web's optimized for clicks or yeah, like just the traffic and just these other events, which Facebook has so much data, and Facebook actually charges you more money when you choose like the higher quality objectives, the higher buyer intent, add to carts, purchases. So when you're choosing like the traffic, Facebook is going to charge you way less, but that's because there's millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people out there that are like low quality, that they're like probably never going to buy, or they're just going to like engage. And that's who you're sending to, like to Amazon.
Yeah. So basically with your tool, we can choose the goal of an Amazon conversion. And you have some magic in the background, which tells Facebook, okay, this user bought and this user didn't buy. And then Facebook knows over time better which users to send through your ad, because they are more likely to buy on Amazon. Is that kind of right?
Exactly. Yep. You got it. And one other thing, so the way Facebook shows that ads, like I know some people like, and this is very common, like using lookalike audiences. That's who you're targeting. That's how Facebook decides who to target, who to show the ad to, you know, and whether it's based on, so basically just like the lookalike audience. But the conversion is a little bit different. It's not just like retroactively who you're targeting. It's how is it actively delivering the ad. It's more about the optimization and delivery of the ad. That's what the objective does. So it's like an improvement on just compared to, let's say you're targeting the perfect audience you think are Amazon customers, or certain lookalikes that are based off, you know, any type of customers that you have, where like that's really good. That's usually like the best practice. But then the conversion is like the next level of that. So it's the active ad delivery and optimization, not just the targeting of the ad.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get it. Wow, very nice. Look, so tell us what's the software called and what's your URL? We'll also put it in the description, but still.
Zontracker.io. So ZONTRACKER.io. And it's been gaining a lot of traction. Like people are talking about it because I mean it's been just a big gap in data, and Amazon sellers kind of like working blind, sending traffic to Amazon, and this essentially allows you more creativity on the types of ads you're running, the types of funnels. If you're doing any types of like messenger bots and like whatever those sequences look like, well, one, you have more data, or you just kind of add this to your tool set where you just choose other objectives to potentially not just get more messages, but you don't know if it's like low or high quality, but feed more data that you're getting purchases. And obviously the more data, the better. So, you know, if you're spending, let's say, under $100 per day on Facebook ads, then like you kind of need to optimize like the other parts, making sure you're getting good data, you're improving your ads. And then usually like above that level is where like you're just sending a lot more data, and the optimization is happening much faster. So I think it's a good mix where it could be for beginners, but you kind of have to figure out the other parts, like your branding, your product, making sure it's good quality, so you actually have the opportunity to have good ads. And then for advanced, I mean, this is where like some of the best users advanced, they already know what they're doing with Facebook ads, and they just like know what to do with the feature, and then just like they see are they getting better results or not just with testing.
Very cool. So guys, make sure you check out zontracker.io. The link is in the description. So Yev, thanks so much for coming. Tell us, is there any other place our users and our audience can find you on, like Facebook, YouTube, or?
Facebook's definitely the best. Have a small YouTube channel, and on LinkedIn if you have any questions, but definitely the best Facebook. And then there's a Facebook group associated with ZonTracker too. so I can
we'll put the link in the description.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks so much for coming. It was a pleasure, and yeah, maybe we'll see you someday again, and go deeper into some details.
Thanks for having me. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks. Bye bye, guys. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, then don't forget to press the like button and to subscribe to our channel. We'd like to know what you think, so post your comments down below. If you have any questions to myself or to Yev, then yeah, feel free to comment this video. And if you haven't tried Sellerboard yet, then go ahead and do so. Sellerboard.com. There's a free 1-month trial, and we're on a mission to build the world's most accurate, most user-friendly profit analytics tool for Amazon sellers for $19 a month. Thanks so much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.